Jamal Niaz here with the main man himself, Eddie Hearn, coming off an incredible week in Dublin. Now a massive rematch here in Manchester, Mauricio Lara versus Leigh Wood 2. What do you make of the main event? And it's got massive implications for the division as well.
It's a fantastic division. I think you're watching the two best in the division fight on Saturday night in Wood against Lara. I mean, obviously Wood beat Mick Conlon, but Lopez is a great fighter as well, and Lopez Conlon's a great fight. There's something about Leigh Wood. He's got a look in his eye like, he's going to do the business on Saturday night. When I had him in the office after the defeat, really I was expecting Josh Warrington to fight Mauricio Lara for the title. Leigh had the right for a rematch, but also had the right to wait and allow that fight and let the winner fight. And I think it's amazing really how it's all played out, and he's shown a lot of heart and a lot of courage to take this fight so quickly after getting stopped. The fight itself wasn't brutal, it was one shot really. And when you talk about Ben Davison's decision, that could have got him this fight this quickly, because if he would have taken more punishment and got badly hurt in that fight, he would never have made this date, and maybe that rematch just evaporated. So I think it's a fascinating fight, a very dangerous fight. I think you're going to see Mauricio Lara come out like a train in this fight. I think he's going to be very dangerous. I think he's going to try and finish the job early. But like I said, something about Leigh Wood that tells me he may just do the business on Saturday.
And just talking about the amazing night in Dublin, Chantel Cameron, she wants Katie Taylor at lightweight. She now wants to go and get Katie's belts at lightweight. I was speaking to Frank Smith yesterday, and there was a sort of idea that could potentially happen again in Dublin later in the year, October, November. Is that something that you're targeting, and do you think Chantel would come back to Dublin? Yeah,
I mean, there's already the rematch clause, a lot is already set in stone in terms of the rematch. But one thing's for sure, Chantel Cameron, needs more respect, if you like, in a rematch in terms of even, smaller things like walking second, and, it's Cameron against Taylor, and, all the little bits that she gave up first time around because she knew she wasn't bothered about that. She wanted her opportunity. She believed she could win, and she did win. So I do expect to see that fight next. I think it's going to be difficult. There is a possibility that the Amanda Serrano fight could happen next for undisputed at 135, but I know in Katie's head she'll be thinking about avenging that defeat, and that'll be the only thing on her mind.
Some incredible timing from you yesterday. The Ben Eubank picture you put out, Eubank and Smith got called off. You come and drop that bombshell on us. Is that in the works, or was that you just trying to play a bit of mind games with Boxer?
It's definitely no. I don't worry about that, but I'm doing it because I want to make the fight. And everything's about timing. There's been conversations about that fight. We were close to making that fight before the Smith-Eubank rematch. That fight's now off. So that was kind of like, let's all just stop fucking around. It's been over a year now since that fight was made. Let's do it. We want it to happen in the UK. There's things we have to go through with UKAD, which Conor is doing. Hopefully we can make this fight happen in the UK. If not, let's do it internationally. But I want to see this fight. I wanted to see this fight originally. It's been a long time now. Timing is everything, and for me, I would like to make it happen.
Obviously, the scuffle happened with Ben and Kell Brook at the weekend. I'm sure you saw online, people were trying to say that was staged. What did you make of those comments?
You don't really, you don't stage things like that. It can be premeditated. There's no them two messaging each other saying, just to let you know, I'm going to grab you around the throat, and because you don't do that with people like that, because it can get bad. But maybe Conor Benn wanted to make a statement. Kell Brook said a lot of things, and maybe he wanted to get in his face. I mean, so staged in the thing that Conor Benn maybe see him and went, I'm going to go and get in his face here, maybe. Not staged as in, we all had a meeting and said, right, you do this, you stand there, you stand there. But Conor Benn wants all the smoke, and he's prepared to get in people's face to make it happen. But for me, the fight is Eubank, Ben, and beyond that, Kell Brook is a definite option.
It's going to be interesting to see how that one develops. Frank said as well yesterday, AJ potentially fighting in August before the Wilder fight that hopefully happens, whether it's later in the year, early next year. So could that be Dillian Whyte over here in August with AJ?
I think that's definitely the preferred option. I think hopefully it's a fight that's relatively straightforward to make. We're talking to DAZN at the moment about that fight. Obviously there's the Wilder fight, which we're waiting on a confirmed offer from Saudi for that fight. They tell us 100% they want to make that happen in December. Who knows what Tyson Fury is going to do next as well. So there's a lot of things in the mix. AJ's back in camp. He's preparing for an August fight, and we'll see how that plays out.
Tyson Fury as well, he's making headlines. Demty McKean was the preferred opponent in Australia, but now the cruiserweight champion has been said to be in the mix from Australia. From your end, the Usyk conversations were so drawn out. You had the experience trying to work out the AJ deal with him last year. How do you think that reflects on him personally, going over for a relatively unknown guy in Australia when the public wanted the AJ and Usyk fights?
It's all rubbish. Tyson Fury does what Tyson Fury does best, which is create headlines, go over to Australia, get everyone talking about him. He ain't fighting J.R. Pataya, and he ain't fighting Dempsey McKean in Australia. There's not enough money in the pot. He's not going to fight for that kind of money. He's going to fight Alexander Usyk, or he's going to fight Anthony Joshua, or whatever he's going to do, but he wants to fight. And I'm sure his team are discussing that Alexander Usyk fight. But I know, one thing I do know about Tyson Fury, it's hard to know what he's always thinking, but I can guarantee he's thinking, I want to fight. I want to get back in the gym. I want to get into camp, and I want to fight. But I just don't believe he's going to fight over there for small money. So I don't believe that for a second, but I do know his team are active, looking at the next option.
If you was promoting him, would you be saying, Tyson, that's not the right way to go about things? If you're looking for the Usyk fight, is that the way that you're going to entice the biggest fights?
What's the point in telling Tyson Fury what to say? He's an enigma, he's an entertainer. Let him go and string everybody along. That's what he always does. I don't criticise it. I think he's very smart in the fact that he's got the whole country talking about him. I'm sure George Warren and those guys will speak to the government, and that we know the site fees available in that country for those fights, and they're just not enough. You'd secure a lot more money to fight at Wembley on the gate. So I don't see it happening, but I do see him fighting, and he is the kind of guy that after a while he'll just give up on something, and that's something like with the Usyk fight in Saudi. If he feels like that's going nowhere, he'll just say, just get me a fight, and that'll be in September. And anything can happen right now. It's wide open in the heavyweight division to make fights. Usyk has his mandatory against Dubois. I think the purse bid's today or something, and then beyond that, people are available. You could see U-turns, you could see strange fights. Who knows? But everybody wants to fight. AJ's in camp preparing for August, and that's all we worry about.
Getting those four on the same card, that would be a dream. Fury, Usyk, AJ Wilder. Could it actually happen, do you think, from your perspective?
They've got the money to make it happen. It's a lot of money. But if they want to create something that's never been seen before and will probably never be seen again, then they can make it happen. But timing is everything. And the longer we wait, the harder it's going to be. And like I said, right now, our focus is on an August fight. We want to get the Deontay Wilder fight made, but without firm confirmations of that, we can't move forward. So, the original focus was securing the fight against Deontay Wilder, but if there's nothing happen, we want the biggest fight available for AJ next.
What about Francis Ngannou as well? Because he's signed with the PFL. He definitely wants to box this year. Has anything progressed with that now that he's signed with the PFL?
I've had my own conversations with Francis Ngannou, and I think a Francis Ngannou AJ fight is a big fight, but AJ's focused on his boxing legacy. He's focused on trying to regain the world heavyweight title or put himself in a position to do that. Obviously, the Ngannou fight is not the fight to do that. We understand it's a big fight in terms of eyeballs, maybe financially as well, but AJ's not out there just looking for any old fight that's going to get him some money. He wants a strategy, he wants to keep improving, and he wants to position himself to be a 3-time heavyweight world champion. So that's the plan.
It seemed incredible to see you and Conor McGregor working alongside each other on the Katie Taylor fight. Obviously, he is training for the Michael Chandler fight, but he seems like he's having a lot of fun as well. Do you think he goes out there and gets the win against Michael Chandler based on what you've seen, being around him?
I have absolutely no idea who Michael Chandler is.
Think of a lightweight version of Mike Tyson.
Right, okay.
He is an absolute brawler.
Right.
Doesn't defend himself the best, so he looks like he could leave himself open for Conor McGregor, but he's stacked, he's got crazy knockout power. It seems like it's going to be an incredible fight.
It sounds like a great fight. I have absolutely no idea. I mean, Conor's enjoying himself at the moment. How sharp he's going to be in his fight. He's a professional. He's a great competitor. I think he'll, I'm going for the Conor McGregor win against Chandler.
You're going for your boy. Yeah. One last thing as well. Cully as well when he lost on Saturday. I've seen people saying to you, well, why did you match him up with a guy that's good? But
it's 30 to 1 on to win that fight. You know, Jose Felix.
You're putting the guys in with the best possible guys.
But not just that. Look, Jose Felix got beat by Tyrone McKenna, got beat by Sandor Martin. If you're the fighter that we think you are, you should be beat. And by the way, he should have beaten him, but he just made a mistake. He traded with his chin in the air, and he'll come back from that. We got carried away on the occasion, but Gary Cully will be back for sure.